Okay, I think we're live. I always worry. Oh, nope, I can hear myself in the background. That's good. All right, so thank you for joining us. My name is Russell. As you know, you've probably watched a few of these already, but today I am joined by Nikki and Lincoln from, BoardGameGeek. I'm sure there's many facets to yourselves, but if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, just for those who aren't aware. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why not introduce...
It just cut off for just 1 second there. It was weird.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to introduce yourselves to everybody that's watching, that'd be great.
Cool. Why don't you start, Nikki?
Hi, I'm Nikki. How much more do you want to know?
So because I know that you work... you do, obviously, the GameNight series on BoardGameGeek, but you also work for Surfin' Meeple, is that right?
50%. It's more of the con season diminishing issues, you know.
Yeah.
It's very weird situation. But yeah, she's doing other stuff now too. It's a lot of things. Plus, she's also going to be doing more stuff with BGG over the next few months because we've announced those the BGG Conline things.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Well, the issue is it's only me and her, right?
Yeah.
There's nobody. We've had no one in our house for 2 months almost.
Of course, because you filmed it. You filmed the show in your house.
Yes, and we have not had anybody over since actually almost 2 months because Rodney came over before we went to Reno for Gamma Expo 2020. Which is the last con we went to, probably the last con for the year. I would imagine. I can't imagine. I can't see that changing this year.
Well, you gotta introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, and I'm Lincoln Damerst from BoardGameGeek. I'm the director of media for BGG, and I've been working for BGG almost 2.5 years now. But I mean, that's full time.
Yeah.
I started working with Scott in 2008, doing stuff, and we started doing the conventions. We went to Essen in 2009 and did our first... we didn't really know what we were doing when we went there. We're just going to be at Germany. We're going to show... we're going to make a presence known.
But we're serious.
Not that but we're serious. And then the whole streaming thing came on as a lark. I had brought we thought, well, we'll live stream. We'll just stream people so people could see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then we had Friedemann over, who we knew well. And I'm like, hey, you should show us your new game on the stream here, and people know how to play it. We'll put it on the video on BGG, right? On YouTube and everything. And then the light bulb went off, and we ran around and completely filled up the schedule.
Oh my gosh!
And it became a serious thing. So we went there not knowing exactly what we were doing. We were going to sell items for sure.
Oh yeah, Michelle and I were the
booth babes.
The booth babes. Selling
no longer appropriate.
No longer appropriate. Selling the T-shirts and bags and stuff.
Well, you must have done a good job because look where BoardGameGeek is now.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of people that have gotten that there for sure. Plus the audience, right?
Oh yeah, but there's so many people responsible for making BoardGameGeek what it is today. But actually, I've just realized, because I always do this, I always forget to do the one format point I have on this show, being that it's called Tea and a Chit Chat. And the main question is, what tea are you drinking?
Nikki, what do you normally drink? Why don't you tell that answer?
My favorite tea is Earl Grey.
Earl Grey, I like Earl Grey actually.
I love Earl Grey, and I love Lady Grey. That also.
Yeah, that's like a slightly more orangey flavor, right?
Yeah. A little more orangey.
Do you drink it?
But we pulled out our fancy stuff.
Look at that!
So they have very clear tea in it today. Very cool and clear tea.
To be fair, though,
it is warm here.
I was also going to say it's also very early in the morning, and some British people, like myself included, can't drink tea that early in the day. So it's totally legit. Yeah. You're totally fine not drinking tea at the moment. But
Nikki starts the day with tea.
I do.
But is that regular tea or iced tea though?
No, regular tea.
Hot tea in the morning.
Yeah. I hear her turn the stove on as she's getting ready to make herself some tea. I don't usually sleep later than Nikki for whatever reason, but like lately the sleep patterns have completely shifted and it's all over the place. Because for years and years I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work.
Oh my god!
And so I have that like built into me to a degree, but but being stuck at home and not knowing what day it is, has really shifted all of that.
We are literally
tremendously.
all feeling that. And actually, I was just going to point out in the background, you can see the teapot. I'm assuming that's the teapot you use.
Well, if you notice, that was my grandfather's.
Oh wow!
So we somehow left it in. I left it in the oven, and so the handle is bent.
Because it melted.
So I bought him it was a plastic handle, but it's a great tea kettle. But I felt bad and bought him another one, and we just took that one. So I've had that for 25 years or 30 years.
Oh my god, that's that's older than anything I own, I think.
Well, we were talking about yesterday on the live stream. Somebody was asking about the Donkey Kong machine in the background.
Oh yeah.
And Nikki and I, when we moved into this house, we had a van, of course, because we were moving all the stuff out of an apartment building, and they had like an underground parking in that place, and we couldn't fit the van in there, but we were coming out to load the van and a truck, and I look and I see a Donkey Kong machine, and I'm like, wow, by the trash, and I'm like, huh.
The dumpsters.
And I go, we're looking at it, and this guy yells out, he's like, are you guys looking at the Donkey Kong machine? I'm like, yes. He goes, it works. I'm tired of moving it. So he was moving at the same time, and he was tired of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we took it, and it worked great, but it needed a little bit of upgrade. But we were joking about it that I said that it's older than Deborah, who's on our show often, because I believe that machine is 1982. It was it's based on when I was looking at it, it's an early. We got it in 97. 97, yeah.
Wow, so it was already like quite old, like in a 16.
Yeah, it was 15 years old at that point.
What a great find, though. Is that like common?
I know.
Is that common? Like, just people just get rid of stuff for free when they're moving out?
They do that. I mean, that was prior to but it was prior to Craigslist and things like that being. I guess I can't even imagine Craigslist existed at that time, but maybe it did. But the deal was they had a thing called the Recycler, which I think is still sort of exists, which was a weekly magazine that went out that was a classifieds thing, and that people used. But it's a headache, especially if you're trying to move. And he's just like, he probably thought, well, I don't need, he's grown up, right? Yeah. Probably. I don't need that anymore. And it's an amazing shape. Like I had to replace like the T-molding, which is the plastic that goes on the edge of the plywood, and the stickers on the side had been peeled off, and you could see the goo. So I cleaned all that off.
You found a guy that prints.
Yeah, I found the printed decals. I had actually bought them years before actually doing the work on it, and thankfully they still worked and did a decent job transferring them on. And then there were no cigarette burns on it like there usually is on arcade machines. Nobody had ever put something like that on there. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, I was worried like when you have. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No.
I was going to say, like, the worry that when you find something good like that's just been left in someone's house and not really used, is that could be, like, smoke damaged or something. So the fact is you were quite lucky there.
The one weird thing was that there was that the top
marquee,
light,
the marquee.
Yeah.
We finally cracked
that. Yeah, when I was
open.
actually working on it.
When he was working on it. So it had been like this for a few years. We're lucky we didn't have a fire. They had put in a refrigerator light bulb
with a weird fixture, and then
to a wire.
Yeah, it was like barely. It was taped. It wasn't. It wasn't really electrically sound.
Fire hazard.
So I actually restored it to the correct.
Yes.
I bought the correct fluorescent bulb and a ballast specifically for that type of machine, and it's fully restored there too.
When we saw that, we're like, oh my gosh, how many times have we turned this on and played it?
I know. Well, where we do Game Night now used to be my brother's recording studio, and so they would use that all the time out there. And plus, we did. I mean, early on, Dave, when we started filming in there, Dave and Aaron were always like challenging each other to go furthest in Donkey Kong, which is like one of the most difficult video games. It's hilarious. You don't get very far, so it's a quick tournament.
I actually played that game. I remember growing up and playing that game and finding it really frustrating.
It's very hard.
Yeah, it's not an easy game, but it's a great game, and it probably was part of the reason I love games as much as I do today. So good shout. And I was it's quite nice to have a little backstory, and that's a good way to lead into sort of one of my next sort of like questions, which is you are obviously most famous to me for doing the Game Night series, and I know you do a lot of work, but that's kind of your most like public role, right? So I mean, what started that? Like, how did you, like, I know you said you did the streaming in Essen, but obviously it was a couple of years after
So,
that
yeah,
before you did it as
we actually started filming in like September or August of 2012.
Yeah.
So what had happened was is Scott knew our group, Aldi from BoardGameGeek, knew our group, and he's like, you guys should do a video series of people playing the games.
Yeah.
And because he actually really loves video game playthroughs.
Right.
And where they play the whole dang game, and he likes watching that stuff. And my thing is like, who is going to want to watch people play a board game for 2 hours? I mean, foolishly, I thought 2 hours would be the cap, right? And then it was just like, I don't know. But the deal was we had all this gear. We had basically I carried the bulk of the gear to the convention, so we had it all here. And so we thought that after Tabletop came out, Scott was very excited about that show because he thought it was going to be what he wanted. A complete playthrough. Which they tried to edit down to. They tried to edit that show down to about a half an hour. So it was more of a highlights, and it's also a little bit more kind of almost reality TV where they had the asides and things like that, stuff that we just can't do.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it after that debut, because I think it debuted in like April of 2012. And so that summer we were going to visit Scott because we were going to Gen Con, and we were getting ready to go out in late July or August. And I said, you know what, we should just do these because we aren't playing any games.
Yeah.
We were so busy with work, and Nikki was starting to work for Queen Games at that time. Yeah. And so we were both just so busy that if we forced ourselves to play games, then by doing this, then that would work. And so it really did. So we started filming in September, shot a bunch of stuff, and a couple of those episodes have actually never made it to light.
Wow.
There was nothing wrong with one.
I was going to ask.
Well, one of the games we played, and it was, I'm told this many times, but we played it, and it was, I'm not going to mention the game, but it was, it was a tug of, you're like battling the leader type of a thing, and we realized it wasn't great.
It wasn't ending.
And we were we were trying to solve the game's problems in our mind.
In the discussion part.
Yeah. And it was all kind of negative. And we did realize that the game could be played in several types of modes, and one was a family game version, and that was probably what we should have played. It seemed like that was the better game, but we just thought, that's not going to work.
No.
The other game we shot was Kingdom Builder, and which is a great game, and I think I still have all the elements, so we could feasibly make that a one from the vault. We've been joking about. Yeah, we've been talking about doing it but the deal was we were trying not to focus on any one publisher, and we got very excited about Maharani from Queen.
Yes.
And we played that
With
like
the
that was
thing.
That was like it was like episode 3 or 4 or something like that. It was very quickly we jumped into that one, and so we never got we by the time and I think we covered other games because we also did Via Appia, that's first season, which we were very excited about. So poor Kingdom Builder it had already won the Kennerspiel.
Yeah.
And so it was just pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then it became, we'd already migrated to more higher technology. Things had improved enough by that time that it wasn't quite the same. So, because, we don't buy a ton of gear specifically for the show. Most of it is used. We do now have 2 cameras that we don't use on the convention coverage, but most everything else and a mixer. We did buy a mixer that in 2013 because it's a different kind of situation. And the cool thing about that mixer is that it recorded the audio for us. So not only could you do all the mixing and any kind of effects that you wanted, but it would record the full stereo mix plus each individual person. So if I needed to repair something, I had all that stuff.
That person out.
Yes,
that's
like
nice.
if somebody was if there's some problem, I could take that person and bump them up in the mix and stuff like that. I don't usually do that because it is not simple, but I've had to recover stuff specifically with that type of an issue. We actually, as a matter of fact, the episode that just went out yesterday for season 8 of GameNight, which was Lord of the Rings Journeys, was a fine example of that recovery system. What happened was we were having problems with Rodney's audio, and I was quickly, it's that trying to problem solve in moments time, and I switched a a scene essentially. I keep doing this. I switched a scene.
You really did do it,
Yeah.
though. So.
So I switched a scene, and but it's a weird term. And what it does is, because this recorder mixer is a live mixer, it brings the mains down to nothing, and I record off the mains.
Yeah.
That's how that main mix records. And so my recording was, for the main mix, nothing, total silence. And then I had each individual person's recorded mix. And so what was happening is, the first 10 minutes of that video, Rodney's audio is super low. And it's hard for me because I'm with earbuds in my ears while we're doing the stuff. And I hear people talking, so I hear bleed, so that I can't, it's hard for me to exactly tell something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing there's something wrong, so I'm jumping up and trying to fix that. And I got it working, but it screwed up the main mix. So then what I did is I took all those 4 individual mixes, put them together, synchronized them, and then brought Rodney's quiet section up, and then I was able to make a full mix. It's not quite as wonderful of audio because it doesn't have, when you do that individual mix thing, it's without any effects. It's just the raw recording. But that's better than nothing, and it actually turned out fine. So, but that delayed the episode. It's been nearly 1 year since we filmed Lord of the Rings.
Oh wow, that's crazy! And I just had a follow, so I just wanted to say thank you to that person that just followed. That's great. I actually started watching that, but I haven't got to the end of that, so I was worried you were going to make a spoiler about whether you won it or not. But
no, I won't do that.
It's quite. I really like that, and it's funny how even 8 series in, which is just wild now. Like, thinking about, like, back in the day, you must be like, oh my god, we're 8 series in and we're still sort of like going upwards, which is just amazing. But you still encounter these issues, like live streaming is just like this beast that you can't tame it. It's just, you can like put it at bay for a bit. But you are very like technically accomplished at that, because you have put out some really good episodes, and like kudos to both of you. I mean, you have both been in all of the episodes?
Nikki's been in everything.
Okay.
I have missed out on, especially in the first season, there was, we did...
too many people.
Well,
so.
That too, but we also had, we wanted to do a contrast comparison between Small World and Vinci. And that game, in our opinion, is better with 3. And so we had Mark Johnson, who loves that game, and then Dave, who loves that game, and then Nikki, who loves that game. And I love Vinci as well. I've only played Small World a few times.
Yeah.
I have it, and I love it, but it's just, I really like the kind of like purity of Vinci. But it's super low, production quality. It's not as beautiful as Small World at all. So anyway, those guys did that. I appeared on the episode, but I was not playing the game. And we did that with... a couple of other things. I thought we did something with Brian that way, but I don't remember Brian Yu, because we had him come on. Like, our first special guest was Brian Yu, who designed Geister, Schachzugmeister, Ghost Fight, and Treasure Hunters, and so he was showing us the new game that
was well remembered, by the way. What a mouthful!
Yeah,
he won the Kinderspiel that year for that. I don't think he won yet. I think we filmed that like in April, and he won in May or June or whatever. June.
But we
June
were doing it because we really liked it.
We like Brian.
He was showing us the sculpts for the ghosts
the
and stuff.
Back when 3D printing with resin was like, oh my god,
like a new thing. So we were spazzing out about the little ghost pieces, anyways.
Yeah.
So.
But it's a fun family co-op, and it's amazing. Like, that's the thing. It's an amazing co-op for kids to figure out how to work together.
I seem to recall that episode in my head. Is it the one with like a top view down of like a mansion?
Yeah, and you're going around the rooms trying to stop the ghosts coming in.
Yeah, the backpack, and you're...
Yeah, and you're catching the tokens. I think you have to reveal the tokens, and you're trying to find specific things to take to get out of there.
Front door.
Yeah,
that was a good. Yeah, I mean, like, I remember that episode. I remember thinking as well that would be a good game to introduce to my sort of, like, I call it nibblings. Like, I don't know if you've heard that word, but it's a sort of group name for nieces and nephews.
Okay.
It's quite nice. It's quite a nice word. So
that is a good one.
When they're a little bit older, I mean, the most advanced game I've actually played, which I was actually surprised they got, because I think they were 6 and 4 at the time, was Just One. And they enjoyed that. You wouldn't think that game would work, but it did. So yeah, that's a game. That's the kind of level of game I'd like to introduce and play with them at some point. talking of game night, oh, by the way, I should mention at this point, if anyone watching, if you want to ask Nikki and Lincoln a question, you can actually just use the chat in Twitch. I will make sure to ask any questions that are asked towards the end of the stream, so get those in now, and there's a chance I could ask them at the end of the stream. But yeah, about game night, because one thing I like, I'm a big fan, as you know, I'm a big fan of the show, and what I like about it is there are two things. One of them is the fact that it's even if in the competitive games, you definitely like support each other, and you kind of give each other advice about how to make like the best moves. And I think that's always nice. It's that really nice tonal feel to it where it's a very supportive show. And so I guess I wanted to know if that was sort of like on purposely done, or if that's just
absolutely
of all the way that you do the shows.
That's basically been modern gaming for us in a nutshell. We met Dave. I mean, Nikki and I have always been like that. It's not, we're not comfortable like any serious battling type stuff, where you're like, it's just not fun. And the other thing is so Dave was always very helpful to help people understand a game. He would constantly explain. That's kind of one of the digs that we have for people against us, is that Dave is alphaing the game, which is not the case. What is happening is Dave he's very, very quick to understand games. I'm pretty quick, but I'm nowhere near quick as Dave, as Dave. And so he helps. He helps you understand what you might not be seeing about a game, or because he's just really amazing. And that's the really amazing part about what he does is he often teaches games on the show without ever having played them.
Wow! How?
Yeah, so there's many times on the show that none of us have played the game. So one of the secrets to how that works is first of all, Dave's amazing, Aaron's amazing, Rusty's amazing, all those guys, because all of them can do that. They've all done it many times, taught a game completely raw. So they'll just read the rule book and spend a little bit of time making sure they have it together in their head and go. And one of the scariest examples of that was we did 504, the Freedom and Freeze game. It's that giant. It's a flip book and everything. Yeah. And Aaron was super nervous because we just returned from Germany with it. Yeah. And so we had Henning, who's the developer at Tiwtch, on the call with us to help us. He just helped us get through the rules explanation. It was too late for him, right? He stayed up like till 2 a.m. to do that. And then we went from there. So Aaron was definitely nervous on that one. But we also have Scott. Aldi is on the calls on almost every game. So he's also pretty great at figuring out games, looking through the rules and figuring out how to play it. And so we have two people, and then Scott will be watching us. He'll have the top-down view usually. Actually, lately it's been just the webcam, because we have a lot of stuff to make it overly complicated everything. But we try to run the live stream machine so that he can see that camera very simply, so that he can catch problems. And then we also have him just like, he's our Encyclopedia Brown, where we ask him to like, hey, check this. He quickly either reaches out to publishers or designers. We were able to answer questions pretty quickly. Only occasionally do we did one for because there's some problems with Roll for Adventure. It was one of the ones that we shot.
Recent one, right?
Yeah, recent, but it finally came out. It was a little bit delayed. It was one we did with Deborah, but Dave somehow misinterpreted his role after explaining it correctly in the beginning of the game. He completely explained it correctly, and then when it came time to actually do it, he somehow didn't understand what that did. It was so bizarre, but it might have been, it always takes long. It's not just playing a game, right? There's much, much more involved to it. We're usually kind of, we don't get up. There's not a lot of breaks, but sometimes we have to take a break. So it's a very weird situation. So something might have just happened with that. But we just put a note, hey, this is not how this works. And if we catch it, see, that's the biggest concern, is that we pretty much feel that we do a very good job of teaching the game. But as with most gameplays, where there's no guarantee you're going to do everything right, because you overlook things, you forget things, you get gung-ho about something. I'm pretty certain yesterday we played Rolling Realms from Stonemaier, and I'm pretty sure I took a bonus die with the coins and then put it in a realm that I had just played in that round. But I didn't remember that for several turns later. So I'm like, oh well, right. What are you going to do about that stuff?
That's
And that's
the
the same problem with
reality
exactly,
of
and that's the
playing
same problem with the
games.
show. You know,
those mistakes happen for sure. But to get back to your question, Dave is encouraged to help everybody around the table.
Absolutely.
That maybe this isn't the best move, maybe that isn't the best, maybe you want to look at it this way. Our goal in that is to get people who are watching to really understand the mechanics of the game and the whys of the game. It's not a typical sit down and play a game and everybody's silent and they have their track they're going to do to get that guy or to win or whatever. We really want to show the thinking process behind board gaming. So when you go and play the game, you have some idea of, if I go this way, this is going to happen. If I go that way, this is going to happen.
Dave likes to actually immediately like take a weird tack on games, and especially if he's played it before, he'll immediately, he'll like, I want to try this time. And oftentimes that does not work at all. I mean, I try to do the same kind of thing occasionally, and it's like, woof, that was a bad idea.
I can, in my head, I'm listening to Dave go, oh no, I've messed it up. Like, he does that
well, I totally, it's the most, to me, the most hilarious thing is you're 2 turns in and you realize you've already screwed everything up. Although Dave will say that and then he'll go on to win the game. He's very, very, very good at figuring out games.
How did you meet him, by the way?
So I was one of one of the best tools about BoardGameGeek is find a gamer, and you can search based on your zip code or your area, gamers in your area on BGG,
nice.
and then it shows you their collection or their profile, right? And someone who actively does that with his group, Jonathan DeGan, searched us out, found me, and he was, I found out later, he's like, hey, does anybody know this guy? And, we were gaming with friends, and we did not go out to any events anywhere. This was 2004. And so he invited me to the group, and I'm inviting Nikki now. Nikki, the first week, Nikki couldn't go because she had an evening class and couldn't go that night. And so I went, and I guess I was okay, but I met Dave that night. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not kidding. When he taught me a game, I was like, I want this guy to teach me forever. He is really great at teaching games. And then the next week, Nikki came, and they were nervous about Nikki, right? A spouse is she serious?
Oh,
and of course, she's probably more serious about games than I.
More serious than Lincoln.
And she really loves playing games, and she was totally a hit, right? Because we're serious. We went every week.
For how many years?
For about 5-6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we got seriously involved with BGG, and we just couldn't do it anymore. It was crazy. Well, we disappeared for a while at one point because we were getting married, and that actually took a lot more effort than we were, prepared for, and so we couldn't, and we really wanted to play games, but it was like, it was so much brain damage that any kind of time, if you had that evening free, you were wanting to just vegetate to like get over whatever was going on. Yeah. But once we did that we were back on, and it was
worked out. Like, what a dream meeting, because obviously I bet I think he's an actor in his sort of regular role, right? So I mean, but still, it must be cool for him as someone who probably loves board games that he's probably in one of the most watched board game playthrough channels ever. So that's kind of cool. That changed his life as well, I suppose.
He's just really good, and he's really he loves helping us do it. Because none of us, we were never paid. I'm now an official employee from BGG, but before that, we just did it because we had fun. Yeah. And I mean, I really do love what we do. I've grown to appreciate so many elements of it. One of the biggest things I love to do is edit. I don't get to do as much editing now because we have Derek Porter doing that, and believe me, he's fantastic. I don't have to sweat it. Like, sadly, the Journeys, Lord of the Rings Journeys we overly complicated. We had 5 cameras because one of the cameras was the iPad for the interaction on that, and that was great. And something happened in that production that I had to fix every single instance of the camera of the iPad appearing on screen, and so I didn't really get to spend the time that I would, because before I would sometimes be editing to the last possible minute, then rendering and then uploading. So there was no going back. I tried to go back and look at things.
It's harder when you've got like a
check my
3-hour video to watch as well. Like I can't. I mean, I've been there. I've edited stuff as well, and like sometimes it's like I really don't want to have to sit there and watch a 3-hour thing that I've spent the last few days looking at constantly. But I mean, it does happen. Nobody, I'm sure, would hold that against you at all. But I think, considering did this for free.
I trusted. I definitely trusted Derek's edit on it. Plus, I was looking at it, but not as, because I like to I have specific beats the way that I like to edit, and I will look at that and make judgments, and I'll re-edit. It's not like because I mean, I've said this before, but I love the way that you interleave footage. I mean, we have a tremendous benefit of having 4 cameras, so we can switch to anything to cover problems, right? Sometimes you realize there's an issue, and you I can't even think of some of this. Well, just our bodies, making noises and stuff like that. That you can cut away from something, and we did.
That creaking door.
The creaking. No, it was like it's an out. We were doing it in season 7. We haven't had as many. I mean, Derek has tried to save stuff, but we haven't. It's gotten a lot more. Maybe we're just too professional. I don't know. But there's not as many silly outtakes. But we were putting them in, and there was one for the Arkham Horror 3rd edition that we were playing, and somebody's stomach made some noise as I'm reading flavor text. The something. The gaping maw or something, and he goes, it's like, and we all lost it, and that was great.
I like to call them Easter eggs, like there's little, it's like you have to kind of keep your eyes on
at the end of the show. So in the before times, they used to have on YouTube. So there's this bit at the end where you can put links to other videos and subscribe to your channel and stuff like that, which is great. But they changed the way they did that. It used to be you could put it wherever you wanted, and they now make it so that it's like the last 20 seconds. So what we used to do is we'd do all the titles, we'd do that section, and at the very end, after a black space, there'd be some outtake. Yeah. And one of the examples is for Headbands, the puppet episode.
Yeah. Great episode.
So at the very end, there's a scene where, I'm trying to get stuff together, and somehow we got onto the A team, and they were doing the A team thing,
Aaron
and
started
they're all miming the puppets singing da 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 da, right? And then he's like, I pity the fool, it's like, I love when a plan comes together and all this stuff, and it was just great. So it wasn't actually part of the show, but it was one little bit. So I would always just take those out and then just stick them at the end, which was the best way to do it, because it was immediately done. You wouldn't forget it, because I pulled stuff out and put it aside for later and never get to it. So that's kind of a downer. I wish that YouTube hadn't done that.
Yeah, I remember them doing that as well. Sorry, you're going to say something, Nikki.
Yeah.
Oh, only that we were talking about, I guess Derek's been collecting them and maybe doing a blooper reel thing.
Once in a while.
Once in a while of stuff.
But yeah, we actually had a channel. I mean, we had season 7 bloopers. I think that's what it's called. Okay. And we had 4 things on there.
I remember recently you put out little videos that were teasers for the episodes. It's in season 7. Yeah,
I believe those were out. Those were outtakes.
That's cool.
Those were so one of them was that Dave was not knowing what country. It was a pandemic rapid response. He didn't know what country the flag was from, and so then he goes, Germany / Italy / whatever. It was great. And so that was the funny thing is I almost feel that could have just stayed in the episode. I don't know for sure why it was cut, but. But I didn't edit that. I let Derek do that.
I think maybe for your 10th anniversary, you could do a special blooper, reel.
Oh my gosh! But that's the thing. It's we really should be good about taking those clips and putting them aside. But it's tough. Managing data, it literally is a tremendous amount of my job. We're not filming as much, so I don't have as much incoming footage. But I'm juggling tons of footage and copying things and making sure. So we shot with Jackie Chow recently, and we did do the episode of Gates of Delirium with her, but we also shot Planet. Yeah. And somehow camera 2 is not there. I don't know what I did, because I actually changed the way I do things now because of that, but camera 2 is lost, and I told Jackie I felt terrible because she won that game handily,
Yeah.
and
there's no evidence
I'm like,
of it.
well, have you back. Well, yeah, I specifically did. I'm like, I'm going to lose that one. No, but I said, we'll have you back. But what I've done now is I don't, because we shoot all this stuff we shoot sometimes 2 to 3 episodes in a day, and I just copy everything to one folder, then break it out into the project so that I don't make that mistake.
Gosh,
because I think that's potentially what happened. Is I thought I probably copied it, because sometimes I do it over several days because it takes forever to copy the cards to the system.
That must be devastating.
Because I have to process everything. I have to process everything before I give it to Derek, because Derek is in Colorado Springs. So I have to give him like a proxy version of the project that he can edit. Then I bring it back, reattach all the full resolution media, and then check the edit, and then render it, and then upload it.
You know what? We're flying through the time. Yeah, I've got like loads of stuff. I actually have a surprise game that we could play a bit later on. So I'm going to make sure I leave some time for that. It's a neat little game. Nothing too high pressure. Don't worry. But yeah, I've got a couple of things. Obviously, Game Night. One of the things I love whenever I watch a new episode is finding out which shirt you guys are wearing. Because you always seem to do quite good pop culture shirts, and I like sometimes when they synchronize with the game.
Synchronize with the game, yes.
I mean, I'm guessing your wardrobe must be like massive.
Nikki hates me, okay?
I do.
I have hundreds of T-shirts, hundreds.
Yes.
Some that I've never even worn.
Yeah.
I mean, I will buy specifically things. I'm like, okay, I was buying all these Cthulhu Lovecraft shirts, dying for us when we could finally do Lovecraft. And then I've done it. I've worn like the jerseys and things like that, but I've also missed the opportunities. Like, dang it! Like we did Jaws last summer. Yeah. The game came out. We raced out and bought it at Target, and then shot it and actually got it up on July 4th because the Thursday was July 4th. So we got it in time for. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, but I have a Jaws jersey that I had.
Yeah.
You missed.
And I completely forgot it. Now I was wearing a themed shirt because Rusty brought an extra, because he was dressed he was playing Hooper. He was playing Dreyfuss's character, because he definitely looks a lot like Richard Dreyfuss. And he didn't go out of character the whole game. It was fantastic. But he brought me a shirt. He brought some shirts like for change in case we weren't going to go for him being Hooper. And so I wore that shirt. I think it was a John Williams Hollywood Bowl Jaws thing, but I forgot my fantastic Jaws jersey. It was so stupid.
Well, you never know. They might do a Jaws 2 board game.
I know. It would probably be a much less, I'm sure Spielberg wouldn't be involved.
So Lincoln has more shirts, so he tries harder to match the theme. But originally his whole thing was never repeat a shirt on the show.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I think that's kind of broken down a little bit.
I mean, you're on 300 episodes now, so that must be quite difficult.
I still have shirts I could do, but the thing is it's like some of the shirts, I buy from a couple of like these daily T-shirt things where they do a design every day, and I don't need more shirts. So I mean, I've tapered that back, but I have not completely slowed down on the jerseys. Right. I might have all the ones that I might have had all the ones I pre-ordered, because that one is they'll debut a design. You can pre-order it and get your numbers. I don't know if I did this one or not.
It's like
this is Flint.
Number one of.
I usually pick the number 23, and then I'll put my BGG nickname on it. But some of them, like this one, I just bought it. The one of the first ones I bought was, I was actually trying to get the Lego one, which I have, and it was, so you search it, but they only do them for a short period of time, the pre-order, and then they'll have some stock, and then when they sell out, that's it.
You miss
unless
out.
They bring the shirt back, And so I had signed up to let me know when the Lego shirt was available, and I saw these other shirts, and they had a Darth Vader, the Black Squadron one that has a Darth Vader's TIE Fighter on it, and they also had the Shining one, which I really love. And that the Shining one was available in sizes. The Darth Vader one was pre-order. So the Shining one is it says Torrance in 1980. 80 is the number on it.
They have a Shining
but
board
I love
game,
that.
So
yeah, I know. We were hoping. We were hoping. I have heard mixed things on the game, so we'll see. Maybe we'll do that one.
You've got a lot of.
I have a lot of Shining. I mean,
T-shirts.
So I was wearing a Shining jersey on our live stream recently, and underneath I had the Shining. It said, it was the carpet pattern. It said "Come play with
Nice.
us." So I was double shining that day. But yeah, I'm trying not to buy as much of it because I really don't need it. Nobody remembers, but it was like that was part of the whole thing. It was I was like, hey, I can put this one in this show, and I can do this one with this show, and the sheer enormity of T-shirts that we have is I'm
well,
not
that's
allowed.
good. I'll keep my eyes peeled anyway. I still like to sort of see what
I still match things up.
You're doing a good job.
I'm so glad I didn't get because he's like, you should do it too. I'm like,
I still like.
I am not.
I still like seeing the shirts you wear though, because I think you have good taste, and I like seeing the quirky like shirts and the designs by them. Maybe a nice idea to like write down the designer where you got them, and you could make some money off that if you like.
People have been pushing. We actually had when we did Arkham Horror Final Hour. I had 2 versions of the hockey jersey for the Miskatonic University, so I gave one to Aaron to wear as well.
Nice.
And the people at Geeky Jerseys, who is where I buy these from, they saw that somebody brought their attention to it, and they reached out to they would give us jerseys, and nobody. I'm the only one that wants them, right? And I'm already buying everything. So I mean, I'm like, Nikki, you should get one, a little tiny one. It'd be awesome. But she's not interested in that. So
she's gonna
not until they make them more
lady. Yeah, what you do is you get it, and then you get it. Well, see, you couldn't do that.
I don't need to wear a big sack.
Yeah, they're quite oversized. That's their style, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're hockey jerseys, right? I'm not even really. I mean, I appreciate hockey, but I am not a sports guy. So it's like people are like, "Oh, you're into hockey?" I'm like, "No, I really love the jerseys."
That's great. That's it, though, isn't it? They're so cool. Like, fair play. We had a comment, by the way, that someone said that really? I know that Nikki did the opening titles for the Game Night show, but your brother Nikki did the music. Is that correct?
Yes, he does.
Cool.
He does. Yeah, he's so he was. My dad was a musician, and as I said, my brother used our studio to record. It was actually a recording studio for a while. I reached out to him. I mean, so I was I love this band Blur. So if you listen to that song, that is Chris's probably interpretation of Blur for me.
Cool.
He's a very talented musician, and he used to do like recording, like pro recording in the studio.
We've had some interesting people over here.
Yeah, we've had my brother worked. He was working with the guitarist from. From Marilyn Manson.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And he left his guitar here for a long time. Finally got it. I was like, oh, we might get a nice Metal Flake Epiphone.
That's cool though. Like
Leif Garrett. And then my brother recorded an album with the band called the Exies. So they got their deal based on his original recording and that, and then he worked on that album too. But yeah, he's really talented. He's worked on Grammy-winning projects
Fantastic.
And stuff like that.
What a talented family members.
Well, that was our dad. He definitely he rubbed off on us for sure.
So I feel bad like having to sort of like skip past a lot of these interesting points, but like I said, we got some other questions I wanted to try and get in before we did. One thing, I'm wondering if I should just go into the game now because I'm worried we're going to run out of time. Do you want to do the game? Do you want to do the game?
Sure. I mean, we'll be on as long as you want. Whatever.
So
we're not. There's nothing.
So I could like talk a while. I know I'm not usually a talker, but on stream I'm happy to just talk forever and ever and ever. But I tried to keep it to about an hour, so we'll see. We'll try and keep it to about.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. Limits. That's a good idea. We can talk about that too.
You didn't know what you were getting into.
Oh, he did. We actually met with Russell when he came to town last year. And we took him to our favorite pizza place, and you couldn't shut me up.
No, it was great. It was like, do you know what? You guys were the loveliest hosts. You took me to a very nice pizza restaurant. Like I said, it had one of the best pizzas I've ever had. It was like a lasagna pizza, so it had like ricotta and like
that's exactly it.
Yep. And you were the one that suggested. I was like, I'll do it because if I'm in LA, they love their pizza there. So let's just have some, and it was good. So yeah, and we had a nice chat and. I really want to come back and visit again sometime. Yeah,
I know. There was plans. Yeah. It was May was potentially going to have you out here. Yeah. Everything's been derailed.
We didn't even touch on that sort of Corona situation, but I know that obviously you're both safe and well, and you are making the most of it by doing the live streams. But is there anything, like, I know it's impacted a lot of the Board Game Geek convention sort of schedule, and I mean, a good time to just briefly mention about the BGG Con line, right?
Yep.
So I know that there has not been too much information released about that, and there is like a press release.
Went out yesterday, I believe.
So do you want to briefly explain that for anyone who's watching who'd like to sort of get involved in that?
So what we're doing, so we're the kind of it was going to essentially be just like what we do at the conventions, but obviously we're going to have people call in, representatives from the publishers, call in, and then we will have the games in our studio. So everything, at least all of that will be rock solid, right? So we'll have, potentially Nikki and I will be hosts, and we'll also have some people calling in that will be hosts, like Eric will probably be, or Martin will be a host. And then we'll have the guest, and we'll try to set up stuff and show some turns. It'll be a little bit more drawn out than normal because we're not trying to cram a bunch of stuff into such a short amount of time like we normally do for the conventions. We're essentially allotting 1/2 an hour per publisher, and we're focusing on games that people can purchase right away. So, which is, I'm like, really, we're not going to do pre-orders? But I mean, I think Eric's concern is like just because of the delays of shipping and things like that, because of the situation worldwide. But we're going to try to do this actually a few times this summer. So what's going to happen it's a replacement again, quotation marks, but for BGGCon. But it is, we'll have the live, it'll be BG Spring, exactly. It'll be the days, a couple days before, I believe it's that, let me look at it real quick. It's just before Memorial Day weekend here in California, United States. So it's the 20th and the 21st, I think. I think Friday we're not doing. We might expand into Friday if there's enough people that need it, but be 2 days of live streaming, and we'll probably have interviews with people and things like that, aside from actually doing the game stuff. And then the following week is a online convention where you can play games. So we have through tabletop events, you can actually go and schedule gameplays with people, and whatever, you determine what games you're going to play, where you're going to do it, if you're going to do it on Zoom or if you're going to do it on Tabletop Simulator or something like that. And it'll be fun. I mean, I know that there's more virtual cons happening that they're trying to put together because everybody's on their heels trying to get this all figured out as quickly as possible. It's a lot of technological hurdles. Thankfully, Tabletop Events is pretty spectacular. Their system's great. And then hopefully that'll be fun.
I think it will be, and I think I know there was from what I saw as well, there was quite a lot of positive feedback about it online, and people are sort of really excited about it, and it does feel like a suitable replacement for going to a con, because obviously that is kind of up in the air. Who knows when we'll be able to go to conventions again, but it's the right thing to do, unfortunately. But
absolutely
good that,
I mean, we've talked about it. If they were to have the cons, would you want to go? I mean, unless there's a vaccination, it's not a good idea, I don't think.
And like that's been the consensus, the people I follow, and there are a lot of bigger sort of board game YouTube people are kind of in agreement there, which is nice. And it is sad. We all like going to conventions.
Oh, I know. It's one of our major social outlets, right? It's very bizarre.
Our friends are there.
Yeah, I know. We had I had a very busy schedule for this year planned.
Yes, you did. It was crazy.
I mean, it's all just, completely dropped off. There was a bunch of stuff. So we were going to, once I got back from
13 things.
Yeah, I think
13 things this year he was going to travel to.
Right. And we were going to go immediately after Gamma, 2 weeks, I think. We were going to go to the Gathering of Friends, which takes place in New York. And then
2 days home.
2 days home, and then off to Japan. We would have returned this last Wednesday for Tokyo Game Market. Yeah. And then we would have this little gap here between now and BGG Spring. And then we would go 2 weeks before Origins, and then we had a lot of stuff planned for the time between Origins and Gen Con. Hopefully we can actually still do some of those things if they loosen up some of the social distancing stuff. I mean, it was small. It was basically shooting stuff in the studio, but new shows that we had lots of things that have been put aside.
Well, I mean, I know one of the shows that you've talked about is the GameNight, which is just the 2-player, and that's like, it's not a bad time.
No. Well,
considering
that's
that,
essentially
that's
what the
kind of-
live streams
yeah.
became, was like a quick,
Yeah.
let's just, because we all of a sudden, we were going to do, as I say, I told you earlier, we'd live streamed earlier in the year 4 pieces for the Wilson Wolf Affair puzzle game, which was fantastic. And we were going to continue with Clank Legacy. We shot the first one. We shot the one that we made an episode, and we were all excited about doing it. Now, Dave, near the end of that, when we were going to do it, Dave decided he needed to go up with his parents up in San Francisco. This was as the lockdowns were happening. And then we were like, we're getting closer to our day, so we're going to have Aaron and Deborah over. And then I had to call him like, hey, we really shouldn't do this. And so, because I was concerned about me. I just came back from Gamma, and I did not want to get people sick because I had no idea what was going on. And so then we thought, well, let's just do something else. So we just immediately started doing Game Night, Date Night. We will officially record some. The plan is, I mean, we got time. We just, I think with the BGG Online, because that's 3 weeks away, I think we'll be done 3 weeks from now. That's part of the issue, is like we have to figure out a lot of technical stuff. We already are using the software that we will use, but it's going to be quite a bit more intricate to
kind of matching up
people coming in,
schedules and stuff. I can imagine. I can only imagine there's an Excel spreadsheet somewhere that's way too big to fit on one screen.
It's started. We'll see. I hope that it's. I think it will be fine. I mean, we've already been doing essentially this for years. It's just it'll be something new where we have to bring people in, and we'll have to do some testing and prepare. Make sure everybody on the other end is okay. Yesterday's craziness was kind of a bit of a wake-up call that's concerned, like Scott's concerned about redundancy type of situations.
Well, I wish you the absolute best of luck with that. I'm really excited about you covering 2-player games, because I think that there could be lots of people sitting at home right now just with 2 of them in the house and thinking like, oh, I'd love to see some games that 2 of us can play. So yeah, I'm really genuinely excited about that. And good to know that there's a few more episodes of Game Night in the bank as well.
We're lucky.
He was.
I was preparing to be gone, so we shot a lot of episodes.
So we shot a lot. We have a lot.
Fantastic. Well, also fingers crossed that they'll ease up the because it will happen eventually, and I think gatherings of 4 will be fine.
It shouldn't be a problem at all. I mean, that's all it is. It's never any more than that in the studio. We don't have. It's me running all the tech in front of the camera, and the rest of us playing the game. So it's amazing, that we actually can do it with such a small group.
Well, talking of games, let's move on to my game. So one of the sort of original things we did on my podcast when we started it, it was a group effort, but I was involved in it. Chits and Giggles. We have the Chits where we talk about the strategic thing. We have the Giggles, and the Giggles is usually a game based around board games. So I thought I'll make a game for you guys especially. So this is a game I've never played before, and it's based on Game Night, and the game is called Designer Publisher Theme Episode. Okay.
We're gonna
so don't worry, it's a very low-key game. I think you'll be fine about it. So what we'll do is let Nikki go first, because I seem to feel like Nikki goes first in most games in the Game Night episodes I watch. So you're
on the discussion, yes.
So we'll go for Nikki first. And here's how the game works. I'm going to in the seven of them, the 7 games that were featured on Game Night episodes, and when it's your turn, you can ask for one of those things about the game: the designer, the publisher, the theme, or the episode. All right, but I'll probably just do series, to be fair, just to keep it a little bit thing. And
not the number. Yeah, we never.
Oh well, that. Maybe I'll do it anyway. We'll see. And then.
Hold on, let me get up the YouTube channel here now.
And so when you ask for them, you can make a guess at the game, and then if it's wrong, it passes to the other player, and then they can ask for one of the other remaining things, and keep going back and forth. And ultimately, if you get it, you get a point. Simple. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yep. So, Nikki, would you like for the first one? Would you like the designer, the publisher, the theme, or the episode? Publisher. Okay. The publisher of this game is yellow. So you can make a guess. You won't be penalized if it's wrong.
You'd already be
And I can make a guess of the
yes,
game.
The game is what we're after.
It's got to be King of Tokyo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The very first episode. Correct. We do know that. I do know that episode.
Well, there have been several yellow games, so I thought maybe a trip here, but you win. So I'm going to give a point to Nikki. Well done. That does mean, though, Lincoln, that you get to start the next one. So speaking of that, what would you like? Remember, remind you again, it's designer, publisher, theme, or episode.
I know, 7 questions. I got to think of things that would be distinctive. So let's go with.
Oh, you don't know if I made it that well this game.
Yeah, that's true.
I could have just run.
Let's go with theme. Let's try theme. That'll be fun.
Okay, so this one is the theme is like city. Actually, I should probably give you more than that, but I didn't really plan that well on this one, so I'm just gonna give
for that one. Huh? Okay,
I would say
so it's
I would say medieval city. That's what you're getting for that one.
Medieval city.
Done a lot of them.
I know. I don't know that would be a city thing.
You can make a guess.
Castle Burgundy.
Incorrect. Okay. So, Nikki, yeah, what do you like? You can have designer, publisher, or episode.
Can't have theme now.
And it's okay. I got it.
Okay, you did. Good.
I like publisher. I like publisher.
Yeah,
she's pretty good.
Okay, so the publisher of this game, there's 2. There's DLP and Tasty Minstrel Games.
Oh boy.
Oh, I know which one that is.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
So you might get it if Nikki doesn't this time. Okay.
Wow, I'm not gonna get it. I mean,
I will give you a hint. There were only 3 players on that episode.
Ooh.
That's a rarity.
Tasty Minstrel.
Well, as soon as he said the 2 public, well, he said DLP. I don't think we've done.
DLP.
They recently did a game with another. They did like the German edition, I think, of a game with somebody else.
Yeah. I think I know this, but I can't think of the.
Well, the German edition game, they did coffee.
Well, how about if you want to describe it, and then if Lincoln kind of says, "Yeah, that's the game," we'll give it to you. How's that?
No. I have to pass.
Okay.
All right. I mean, you can make a.
You don't even have to give me a clue. It's Orleans.
It is Orleans. Well done. So the episode 3, series 3, episode 13, and it.
Yeah, that was one of the SDJ coverage games.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So congrats. So even Stevens, so there's still all to play for. Now, Nikki's going to go first for this one. So again, same options: designer, publisher, theme, episode. I should say anyone watching can play at home as well.
That's why I went with theme, but boy, I didn't get it initially.
Designer.
Okay, so the designer of this game is Ignacy Tiwtch.
Oh, that one's easy.
Lincoln. For reals?
Pretty sure.
To be fair, if you ask for one of the other things, it's pretty much the same.
Actually, there's a couple, so it wouldn't be. It's not a lot.
Not a clean-cut answer.
Think here. What would it be, though?
Do you have any guesses, Nikki?
No.
No?
I mean, there's two I'm pretty sure we've only done 2.
Oh, man, I'm bad at this.
Don't worry, it's all for fun anyway. Are you passing?
So you're going to pass again?
I have to pass
All right,
again.
no worries. Lincoln, what would you like?
Should I just give a shot Imperial Settlers?
That is incorrect. But would you like... You still have to ask for something anyway.
Oh, clue.
So
okay, I'll say theme. This will help Nikki.
Okay, so it's pirates. Pirate theme.
You go.
So it's a pirate-themed game designed by Ignacy Tiwtch. And you can still ask for the publisher... do you want to know why I answered the one that I answered? As I don't remember the name of the other games, so there you go. Wow. I mean, you have done like 300 of them, so fair enough.
Is it a kid's game?
No. It was a great one. It was Aaron taught that one. I think he's taught both of the Ignacy games.
Pirates.
Yes.
Not Vikings.
You can still ask for the publisher or the eepisode if that'll help.
No, it's not going to help there.
Publisher.
Well, it's
sure.
Portal Games.
I could tell you that.
Portal Games.
It's Ignacy's publishing company.
But
I
might as well ask it.
Yeah, it's extra information.
Oh, I know what it. Wait, let me think. Let me think of the name here.
Pirates.
It's
Roman pirates.
No.
We never
haven't played that one.
There's 5 words in the title.
Yeah.
There's a rhyming.
It's Rattle Battle.
That's it. I think that's.
Remember that?
I think Nikki, you weren't probably going to get that. Is that safe to say?
No,
So we're going to give Lincoln that point. We're going to give Lincoln that point. So it's 2-1.
You're like 3.
It's tough though. I mean, that one's a different name too, but that was a fun game. I think we actually Rattle Battle.
Grab the loot.
Something in loot.
Rattle,
Loot.
Rattle, battle, grab the loot. I actually own a copy of that game, and yeah, it's one of the few games that
still
utilizes
do.
the inside of the box lid.
Yeah, it's
cool.
gorgeous. Everything.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember the punch boards for that? Actually, had all kinds of drawings
Yes, I
on the
kept
boards
those.
as well.
Yeah,
I actually
okay.
kept those punch boards because they were so good. They had little doodles.
I
on
know.
them.
Yeah.
I think we still have them. I mean,
They have cute
I believe they
little-
were punched and then set aside, and they were at least in the same place till recently. I might have finally gave up and got rid of them. I don't know. It's like it's time to reassess all the things that we keep, and
Yeah.
there's so much stuff that I have to I got to really thin this out and figure this out.
It's funny you remembered those. That's exactly what. So we'll do the rest of them as quick as we can because I want to get through this. So the fourth one, I think Lincoln had the last go. So Nikki, you can go first in this one. What would you like?
Publisher.
The publisher of this game is Ankama. Ankama.
We've only done a couple.
It's funny. There's one really distinctive answer in this.
If you'd said theme, I bet it would have been more.
It would have been better for me. I can't.
I will ask a question so that if I get it wrong, then you'll know the theme.
Yeah. Okay, I'm passing
All right,
again.
Okay, theme.
Theme dinosaurs.
Yeah. It's.
Oh.
Do you want to guess?
No, it's your turn to guess.
Draftosaurus.
Correct.
Yeah.
Draftosaurus. That's the one. And it was funny because there's like 4 designers attributed to that game.
Oh, it's that collective.
Yeah.
It's Bauza and Teo Rivera and
So I thought that
Ludovic
that could have
Montblanc
really
and
helped because there's not many games with that many designers on it. Well, I guess
No.
Prospero Hall games, but
yeah,
Yeah.
you just don't know the
no,
designers on that
exactly.
one.
So number 5, we'll go with Nikki again. What would you like?
You're gonna say publisher again?
This is terrible.
Hey, I would advise.
She's just hoping for that.
Well, this.
How about the name of the game? No.
There's a good try, to be fair.
What do I want to do? I can't do publisher again.
No, don't
Theme.
even-
Okay, so
theme.
theme is like Wild West.
Did that one get posted?
It's not Western Legends. I
It
know.
didn't
I
get
can tell you.
posted.
That was our first when we first started using the new cameras that we bought a little over a year ago, and just brain damage.
Oh.
So that episode's
terrible.
lost because it was a great game. It was a fun
a good
play.
game. I was the sheriff, and I chased Dave all over the board.
What was the name of that
all
game
over
again?
the board.
Western
Western
Legends?
Legends.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I mean,
But anyways,
take a guess.
Western-
Game.
Western thing. I'm trying to think of a Stronghold one.
What about the one from Queen?
I don't think you did the Queen one.
Maybe.
Nah. Western Trail.
Great Western Trail.
We didn't do Great Western
Yeah.
Trail.
No.
Well, if that's not a legit thing, then we'll give you another go.
Come
One
on.
of my favorite games,
No.
Great Western Trail, by the way.
Yeah, Nikki loves it too.
Well, I'll just say that was my guess. So
No, it wasn't an episode. I'm not going to let you do that.
Yeah.
We have not done that. Think about it. It's Queen.
It is. Why do you think it's Queen?
I'm just saying that's a strong one.
Say
It's
one you know.
potentially that. Yeah. Well, what's the one Western themed one that you know?
Yeah, from Queen. I can't remember the name.
I don't know what to tell you then.
I would try and remember.
I tell you, if it's the one I'm thinking of, you had a real heck of a time pronouncing his name.
I know it was Ornea.
Emanuela Ornea.
Ornea.
Come on. You're so close, Nikki. Come on. You can do this.
Emanuela
It's one
Ornea.
word. It's one word.
And I taught it too.
Yes, you did. You love the game.
I know. I do like the game.
Yes.
What would you call people who do things before
Homesteaders.
other
Settlers.
people? Like
Homesteaders that were
trendsetters.
going west.
Trendsetters.
The first ones. It basically means the first people to go and
Yeah.
do this.
Wow.
Starts with a P.
Yes,
Yay.
yes.
Yeah.
That's great. All right.
That took a lot of help.
Especially with the Emanuela Ornea.
So I taught the game, and the rule is if you teach the game, you're the one that does the opening with the
The intro.
box, the intro. And I could not say his name. It was bad.
We
Blooper
finally
reel material.
phonetically put it together for her to do it. Emanuela Ornea.
Ornea. I have it now.
But
Yeah.
is that not like something you could put in that 10th anniversary blooper reel?
Oh my gosh, that would be terrible.
Like 30 minutes of me pronouncing his name.
It's pretty bad. It was Ambi and Toby were there with us, and they were feeling for her, and they were the ones like, let's do it phonetically. And then
oh my gosh.
then we had them come, and one of the two of them, I think it was Toby, was having a hard time with the name. It took him a bunch of takes to do the same thing.
Gosh.
So you definitely get hooked up on it. I mean, it's funny. You think you know it, but then you're on the spot, because poor Dave, he teaches most of the games, and he is terrible with pronunciations. So, oh my gosh, it's not, for whatever reason, it's something, a skill like that he doesn't have. For some reason, I can mimic that stuff, but it doesn't mean for sure I'm not going to deliver it on time.
It's when you're messing up, right?
One go.
Then you start to feel the pressure because everybody's standing there and there's a camera in your face, and then you mess up even more because of the pressure and.
Yeah,
it's like that.
I know, it's just at some point, like, I mean, I've done videos to camera in the past where it's just me, and I think, oh, well, it's easy enough. I'm just saying a couple of sentences, and then I get to almost the end, mess it up, and then the next time I don't get that far, and then I keep messing up.
Yeah,
It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing, I think. Do you want to do the last two, or do you want to? Yeah,
no, all
right. Let's do the last two. So I think Nikki got that one. So Lincoln, you get to ask first for the last
2 points
question.
to your 50 million.
No, I don't
it's
think
3-2 actually. It's still to play for. You could still win this. What would you like, Lincoln?
Let's go with theme as well.
Theme. Okay.
It's fun. Theme is hard.
Theme is aeroplanes.
Now boarding?
Yeah, that was it. That one would have been really good, by the way, if you'd picked either of the publisher or the designer, because it's pretty much the same thing.
The same thing.
But then
exactly.
it could have been
Tim
Burger
Bowers.
Brothers as well if you'd gone for Tim Bowers. So I think.
Yeah, if I've gone for the name.
But that was well guessed. So Nikki.
The only other one I would have thought of would have been airplanes.
Yeah.
The Alan Moon game, which we did a while back.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that game.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's based on Union Pacific and it's in that same thing.
Yes.
Union Pacific and
I did watch that one.
Clippers are all kind of similar elements of that one.
On things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's classic Alan Moon.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, well, the last one is the last one we're gonna do is. Oh, why did I lose it? I've lost it. Oh yes, okay. So the last one. What would you like, Nikki?
I feel like I should change it up, but I want to ask for theme.
Those are I think theme is the hardest, especially if it's I can't believe I said Castle Burgundy.
It gets rid of a lot.
Because it could have been
of stuff.
I want to just make sure this is a legitimate thing. Okay, so the theme is horticulture. I wanted to make sure that was the correct word for it.
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't ever played that one. We never played the garden one. Hold on.
It's a tricky one.
The only one I can think of is the.
Like, don't give me any hints.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to.
The publisher would be different. If it's that one, there's 2 publishers for that game now.
You do. Oh, Arboretum.
Is that your guess? Yes, that's correct. Well done.
Yay!
Well done.
That was
Do you know what? That ended up being really close. 4-3. Lincoln just about won, but 4-3. That's a good result. Was that fun? Like a little bit of a. Yeah.
Yes.
It's challenging too, especially I think theme is tough.
This game would not have worked about 5 years ago, by the way. It'd have been way too easy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because there would have been too series to go through. But now, because you've accumulated 7.
Dave has gone to events and people tell him how much they appreciated him teaching such and such game, and he's like, "We did that game." He doesn't, it's like there's so many games he doesn't even remember, and he's very good about remembering how to play a game. Like he can dredge it back out of his memories pretty easily, so it's pretty great.
That's just my partner in the background, by the way. Just wondering.
Yeah, no, I like that he adjusted the vase there. That was pretty great.
I think it's usually because we stop around 7 and I lock him in the room.
He's like, enough being locked.
Yep. He's like, nope, it's 7. I'm
out. I'm out.
It's like free. It's freedom. Listen, we've pretty much come to the end of the stream. But literally, thank you so much for taking part. It's been an absolute blast. I didn't even get through all of the questions, so maybe there's a scope to do this again in the future, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've really
for sure.
enjoyed it. There was one viewer question I wanted to ask. I know we've kind of run over time, but there was one viewer question that we always ask, I guess, and it's from Paul Grogan, who does the Gaming Rules channel, and he always likes to ask what your favorite cheese is. Do you have a favorite cheese?
We really love English coastal cheddar.
Oh,
wow. Yes.
Is that specific,
Yeah.
or is it just like any old cheddar?
It's a white cheddar that has the little crystals that are in it.
I've never had that. I'll
it's
have to look that up. English coastal cheddar. I'm writing it down.
Yeah. It might be, of course, that may be the North American name for something like, hey, this is just crappy cheddar, but we love it.
But we like it.
I like a good old cheddar, to be fair. But that's your answer. Okay, fair enough. Thank you for answering that.
That's it.
Sorry we didn't get through many.
Well, what is your? Nikki likes
Brie.
Nikki loves brie.
Well, that's
as
a French cheese, and my partner's French, so definitely approve of that. And we do actually have it quite a lot, so that's fair. Listen, thank you so much for taking up your time.
Absolutely.
I love watching, Game Night. I enjoying the streams that you guys have been doing lately as well. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Just a note to anybody watching at home, the next episode we'll be doing is with the Ben Maddox from 5 Games for Doomsday. So it's like a podcast of that. So that'll be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. UK time. If you have watched this and you have enjoyed it, please consider following us on Twitch. I have like a follower goal down there, which is like 50 people, it's a low target, but I'm still trying to reach it. And then if you're watching us on YouTube as well, don't forget to subscribe to it, because we will be putting up the videos on here as well afterwards. And obviously we also have a Patreon if you did fancy supporting us as well. So listen, thank you so much, absolute pleasure. All the best with BGG Conline, and hopefully things are improving soon. And thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Russell.
Pleasure. Any day.
Take care.
You too. All right. Take care, guys. And
Bye-bye.
I'll do the